Hello everyone, this is Isha Vahuja, and in this video I'm going to tell you about whole the process of our master project. So as you know that we were working on a master project in the last days, and we have created whole the master project successfully. So let's begin with the things. So first of all, I would tell you that in the beginning of the master project, we have created some user story under the user storyboard heading, and almost 39 user story we have created, and then we worked on all of them one by one. And in the second phase of that, we did the product roadmap, in which we have to manage our time. We created the Gantt chart, and we were about to tell that how we're gonna divide the time in all the process of our project. So the user stories which we have created over almost 39, as I told you before. So we divided them all in 3 sprints: sprint 1, 2 and 3, which is known as agile methodology. So in these all sprints we worked differently, so I will let you know what we did in all the sprints. So in sprint 1, we created the login page, creation of the category, like how the Apple, like the grocery items or the frozen items and stuff like that, and then to add and remove items in the application by the admin or the manager side. And the second sprint, we have created the cart, like how the customer can select the things and they will automatically go in the cart, and then they can pay from there. And then we have created the suggestion of alternative items, like if the customer has if the customer is looking for a particular company's coconut oil, but they're not getting that, or that item is out of stock, so they will get an alternative of that. So we have created that, so they will be showing other companies coconut oil. And then third, we have created the payment mode. We have created 2 kind of payment mode, like they can pay from the PayPal or the MasterCard. And the fourth, we have created update stock level. When the stock is out or less, how admin and manager can update the stock level, and they will get a notification as well. And ready to pick up notification, the next step, we have created that when the customer places order and order is ready to pick up, and the customer will get a notification that your order is ready to pick up at this time. And the sprint 3, we have created the dashboard, which is easy access for the customer, a separate dashboard, and for the user and manager a separate dashboard. So next is the user history by the admin. So in this dashboard, we have created how the admin or the manager can see the user history, who have last login, and who has dispatched that order, who has made packed the order. And then third is purchase history for customer, how a customer can see their own purchase history and then can reorder. And the last, we have done a search option, so how a customer can search for the option, like whatever the things they are looking for, so they can go to the search option and they can get the things which they're really looking for. And now I'm going to tell you about my whole contributions. So what I did in this project. So mainly I helped my team in the write-up of the documentation, I would say. So firstly, we started the storyboard, and in that I created user stories. Like I created almost 10 to 15 or maybe a little more user story in that. And then we created the product roadmap. In that I helped my team in creating doing the write-up of the product roadmap. Third, we did the sprint write-ups. So there were 3 sprints altogether, as I told. So in those all, we have I contributed in the write-up mainly, and then I also created in all the sprints the wish list. I mentioned especially I helped in the wish list as well. So in the next, created 4 flowcharts or 4 to 5 flowcharts, which are covering almost high priority user stories. And then I created the BPM and diagram with the help of Abhishek, who is the other student from Enterprises. So we both created the BPM and almost 50%. And then I created the user case diagram, which is easy reflect what user is doing what activity. And then data flow diagram, how the data gonna flow in whole the process, which is already submitted in my write-up. And then I created the stakeholder diagram, which is telling about the external and internal stakeholders. Then nowadays, I worked on the main write-up, about 40 to 45% I did the write-up part. So in the next thing, largest three contribution. So in my largest three contribution, I helped in the BPMN. Almost 50% BPMN chart has been created, in which we have made three pools, in them customer, inventory manager, and the manager or admin. So we have divided the activities according to them, and based on our BPMN, our application has been created successfully. The next thing which I helped in flowcharts for user stories. So there were a particular user story. In half of the user stories I covered, which were with the high priority, and we focused them on very carefully and very nicely. We created the flowcharts, which I already submitted in the write-up. So I and Abhishek has did this, and I created almost 4 to 5 flowcharts, which according to that flowchart, our software team has made the processes. And next is the main write-up. In that write-up, as I already told, 40 to 45% part I'm doing the research methodology, introduction, client and supervisor guidelines, and to other many things. Then the unique things I learned in this project. So there were, the big thing I learned is BPMN for a big project. Before this, in my whole course, we made the BPMNs, but they were for small processes. But in this project, I learned how we can create a BPMN for a big project. In the future, if I'll go with the in a field and I have to create the BPMN from this master project, I learned really well BPMN creation. And the second thing, how to add the project, how to do this project sprint to sprint. Before this, I didn't know about that, how we can focus on the sprint, how the application can be created. But now I understand very nicely and very quickly that how we go from one sprint to sprint, how we can divide the user story, which user stories are with high priority, medium, and low priority. Moreover, in the next, I got a deep understanding of the diagrams making tools like Lucidchart and Draw.io. Those two were really helpful in creating all the diagrams, BPMN, and flowcharts. And next thing, ideas to improve the course, what I like the most and the least. First of all, I will let you know what I like the most. In whole the project, we had to create the user stories. In the beginning, I didn't know even what are the user stories, and then a lecturer guidance of supervisor guidance, we come to know that what the user stories are, how to create them. A lecturer shows us some examples like how you can create an application by sprint to sprint and how the user stories can be created. So with the God's grace, we created 39 user stories, and almost like most of them are successful. And the next thing I learned, agile methodology, how we can work in agile methodologies as same as sprint to sprint. So that's a very good idea, that how we can go slowly but slow and steadily, but yes, definitely it wins the race. So we go on sprint to sprint, and it works really well. And next, knowledge of many new tools. That's very important, that usually when we create an assignment or application assignment, we get a basic knowledge of the things. But in this project, we got really well knowledge about the things. Like I learned how the Amazon Web Services works, what are their parts, because with the help of this we created our application. So our software engineering student keep discussing with us that we are creating this step, next is this step. So we learn about that as well. And the second is GraphQL. That is basically for creating the backside graph of the application. And I also learned about a React Native. So the least which I like in this project, there are no many least things, but almost our project has gone really well, and in the good time, because nowadays the time is going on the corona time, but still without attending the classes face to face, online classes, online presentation, everything goes really well. I really appreciate my lecturer, my team, our supervisor, and a client. They all were so cooperative, and everything gone fantastic. But the one thing which I want to mention is time. Yes, it was hard, like to give the time. They even allocated our more time, but still I would say it's a master project. While we are working on it, we need time. Yes, the team was good, but if any person will not get a good team, they need more time. In this, if I'm talking about the time, I'm talking about the time in between two sprints. In the first sprint we got 3 weeks, but in second and third sprint we got only 2 weeks each for each sprint. So that was a thing which I wanted to mention. Rest everything was fantastically good. Thank you very much. This is Rishabh from IIBT campus.